Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are here again with the RS500. We've got Jack from Stjarnagloss here to get rid of that absolute stench that's inside the cabin. And then we're going to talk about the engine bay. Let's get into it. As I said earlier, we're back with the RS500. It's been a few months since it was detailed last. And although Jack, who's behind me, I'll bring him in a moment, did give the interior a good spruce, that smell has come back. And obviously there is no smell-o-vision, but it's really bad. So we're here again with Jack. Hello again.
Brother Bear.
How are we doing?
This is my favourite car, so I just couldn't wait to get back.
Yeah, that I do know he's lying, because it's not your favourite car.
Raj is so close with Henry Ford that he actually named his sports cars after him. That's why they're all called RS. There's a fun fact for you.
Did you know that? Not even I knew that, but anyway. A bit of another spruce up before she goes for engine bay clean-up and paint.
From memory, we made the executive decision to not go too crazy on the first one because there were going to be bodies in and out of it, left,
Correct.
right and centre. And obviously you are further down the road. You've had a little bit of a complication with the engine. Today has all been about extraction, deep cleaning, steam cleaning, doing it properly, because hopefully, engine in, paint on, you're nearing completion. But as you say, the smell, I forgot how bad it was. And whilst we knocked off 10-15% last time, cracking the boot, it was like, Jesus, that is criminal.
Yeah.
So where we're up to is lots of hoovering, lots of extraction, lots of brushing. You've got to give a special shout out to the long one. I don't know where he's gone, Nathan. He spent a good couple of hours on the headlining. I thought that was gone. He's done a nice job.
He's done a cracking job on that.
But the party piece, we're going to use an ozone machine.
Nice.
Which basically kills, Nath, ozone machine kills all bacteria. Oxygen.
Okay.
Turns O2 to O3. I don't even know what that means.
Not even I do.
Hopefully neutralise any and all bad smells in there. So we're going to put all the interior back in loosely, because some of it's still wet.
Sure.
Run the ozone machine for like 5-6 hours, then air it out for 2 days.
Yep.
And then I'll come back and get the ozone machine. And then hopefully we'll be able to get rid of that horrible smell that none of you can appreciate, but everybody near it can.
It's bad.
One question I have for you, engine-wise, is that your engine recommissioned?
No, so I bought a new engine. It's not an RS500 engine.
Okay.
And that's what the internet has blown up about.
Okay. Yeah.
But that engine is good for 650 brake horsepower.
And it's not like you've lost the other engine, is it?
The other engine will stay with the car. This car will have 2 engines.
Yeah.
Not running.
No.
But 2 engines.
Just put it in the boot.
Could do. But yeah, it's about obviously finishing what you're doing, getting the engine bay sorted, over to JTech, getting the engine in, get it running, get it MOT'd, get it dynoed, all of that stuff. Put some 11s down, use it for a little bit. Obviously we'll call you back because I know you love Fords, and I know you love putting 11s down, especially in that M2 you got outside. Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming down.
No problem at all, mate.
I'm going to leave you to it, and we'll catch up in a bit when you're finished.
And I'll just smell even worse. And hopefully we'll get it out of the car.
Nice one.
Two multiplied by 10 plus 1. We're done. The final party trick is the ozone machine, but the ozone machine requires quite a lot of education to explain how it works. So I'm going to hand that over to Nathan, because he's got a master's degree.
Yeah, so the ozone works just by creating the own atmosphere in the car. And what that does is it neutralises all the oxygen, basically kills all the oxygen, and with that, all the odours and smells. So we use it commonly for cigarette smells, dog smells and anything like that. So when Cav spoke to us and said about Raj's car needs a bit more, we knew exactly what we needed. So we'll cycle that a few times, and that will just kill everything in the car, bring it back to absolutely nothing, and then Raj is going to have no problems whatsoever moving forwards.
Oh wait, hold on, someone!
amazing job done by Jack and Nathan. The car's back in my garage. We didn't get an opportunity to clean the exterior of the car because the weather turned, but at least the interior is done. Now the next thing for me is to plug in this Ozone machine, leave it in the car for 4 or 5 hours, unplug it, and then leave the doors wide open just to let it air out, and hopefully that will get rid of any toxic residue smell that's left inside the cabin. So I'll do that now, and the next step for this car is engine bay detail and a bit of a spruce up, a bit of a paint in preparation for the engine to go in. Right, let's plug this up. Okay, she's on. Leave her be for about 5 hours then. Put that there. So we're done with the Ozone machine. We left it on for a good 5 hours. There's no damp or toxic smell anymore. It smells of nothing. In fact, you can't even smell the fresh Stjarnagloss air freshener, so it's like a nothing smell. So it seems to have done the job. Let's hope it holds out. Now we're going to load the RS500 up on the low loader, which is there just outside, and it's going to go to Bob at Autobodytechnic for a bit of engine bay refresh before obviously the engine goes back in. So let's pull this out and load it up. So guys, if you recall in a previous episode, we spoke with Steve Smith, who worked at Castle Performance. He was one of the owners of Castle Performance in the late 90s to the early noughties. And that's where the RS500 engine was built and got 510 brake horsepower, as you see here in the Fast Forward article. Recently, I was contacted by a gentleman called Gary, and it transpires he's bought the original block from my RS500, so pre this works. So today we're going to give him a call. I've not spoken to him before, and we're just going to see what his plans are with that block. How does he know it's my block? And if it is, can I twist his arm in selling it to me? Let's give him a call.
Hello?
Gary, hi, it's Raj. Are you okay?
Hello, Raj. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. For transparency, I'm recording this conversation. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely fine, mate.
And if you're okay with it, we will share it on the channel, because obviously I'm trying to build a history file of my RS500.
Yeah, no, and to be honest with you, I'd seen your channel about the car you're working on, and it's probably got a lot in common with my car, because the car I bought as a whim at an auction with my son. When I got it back, I realised it had a YBJ engine block, and somebody converted the original engine to a 4x4 Sierra block. So I'm probably on a similar journey to you, really.
Okay, so you've bought an RS500 or a...
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay, and what colour is yours?
Black, so I'm one of the common ones.
Yeah, I think I've got the faster colour, haven't I?
Yeah. What's interesting about my car, though, is it's as it left the factory underneath with virtually no corrosion.
Oh, wow. When did you buy your car? When did you acquire it?
I think it was October last year.
And that's from one of the auctions, did you say?
Yeah, but I bought it from Iconic Auctions.
Oh, right, yes, okay, yes.
Got a NOS YBD block for my car and had a new engine built for it. So I've actually ended up with the YDJ engine with all the gubbins as a spare engine.
Right.
I then spoke with Gary of Cosworth Breakers and said, have you got a YBD engine block? And out came the engine block that actually belongs to your car.
So how do you know it's from my car?
Because I contacted Darren at the RS Owners Club, database, and basically said to him, I've got this engine block. Is the car still on the road? And stamped on the engine block is GG38990, which I assume is the chassis number of your car.
From memory, I couldn't tell you, but I will check.
What Darren basically said on the database, that belongs to Raj's car.
Damn, why didn't he contact me? Oh, well.
So currently, the engine or engine block is being rebored, and I'm actually having built into a standard engine.
Okay, so you're going standard OEM spec engine. Is that what your plans are?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. You don't want to sell that engine block, do you? Surely I can twist your arm.
The problem I've got with that is literally being built into an engine as we speak.
Oh no!
Literally, I've obviously bought the engine block. I've literally paid. I think as we speak, it's being rebored.
Okay, so what? Can you recall what you paid for that engine block?
Yeah, the engine block I paid £6,000 for.
Okay, which is probably about right. That's on the money, because obviously 500 engine blocks aren't cheap anymore. At least I know where the engine block is now, and it sounds like it's gone to a good home, and it's going to be in a very good car.
It's Joe Stevens who's building my engine for me,
right?
And I don't know what. To be honest with you, Raj, I don't know what I'm going to do when it's built. I just thought I'd build a spare engine, as you do, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, really love seeing what you're doing in your car, because there's two schools, isn't there? There's the keep it original or modify it, and I respect both areas of those camps. I've gone down the keep it original route, but my car is going to be a daily drive. In the summer, it'll be used every day.
Oh, fantastic.
I don't want it as a garage queen. What's the point?
What's the mileage on your car, if you don't mind me asking?
52,000.
Okay.
I actually got it for a really good price at auction as well. I paid 91, and I think with auction fees, I think I paid 104,000 for it.
Which, to be fair, that's not bad. RS500, original black, 50-odd thousand miles. Where do you live, Gary?
I live in the Cotswolds.
Okay, well, you live in a beautiful part of England, I've got to say. So I'm sure at some point, I don't mind taking a drive down to the Cotswolds, because it's a lovely area. It'd be good to get together and just show both the cars, obviously your black one and my Moonstone one, and we'll have a look at the engines and so on, and see what the difference is between your one, which is stock but OEM, and obviously in 2026 compared to a 1987 40-year-old car, and mine, which is going to be highly modified. And you're more than welcome to drive mine and see if it puts a nice smile on your face.
Love the idea of that, Raj. Really, really nice speaking with you, and I'll keep you up to date with what I'm doing with your engine, which sounds quite wrong, really, doesn't it?
It does. If only we'd spoken maybe a few weeks earlier, then I could have maybe twisted your arm. But it is what it is. Thanks for your time. Appreciate that. If you can drop me those photographs on WhatsApp, email, whatever it is, that'd be appreciated, and we'll catch up very soon.
All right, really nice to meet you, Raj.
Cheers, Gary. Thanks for taking my call.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I did try and prize the block off him. I think I'm probably a little bit too late, because he's already commissioned works, which is a shame. So we will hopefully somewhere down the road, we'll meet up with Gary, as we will do with Steve Smith and anybody else I speak to. I'd love to try and get hold of Darren at some point. That's a very young Darren there in December 2000, driving what is now my car, but that was his car then. So it'd be great to meet Darren at some point, and any of the other owners in between Darren and so on, just so that we can have a catch up, and obviously they can see the car, a bit of a nostalgia trip for them, and we can talk about the history of my car when it was in their hands. Appreciate Gary taking my call. I'm going to leave it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let's crack on with the project. As you can see, the car's back from Bob at Autobodytechnic. His remit was to paint the engine bay. And I've got to say, he has smashed it out of the park. Just check that out. Now, the car was with him for a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it makes no difference to me because I'm not using the car. Because he found a few areas of rust and he said, look, while the car's here, I don't want to do any patchwork. I want to do it properly. He's got his name on it. He wanted to stamp, obviously, his name on the engine repaint. And the fact I will be repainting the whole car at some point, I was like, look, you know what? We've got to go to town. So, and he literally has smashed it at the park. If you look, I don't know if it'll come across on camera, but just look at the quality of the paint there. That is better than OEM stock finish. Around the turrets, there's a little bit of rust around the turret, which he's fixed. He has really gone to town. Also the heat shield, which is here around the bulkhead, that was tired, very old, obviously 40 years old. He's removed that, stripped it back and replaced that with something a little bit newer, thinner, but obviously probably better quality than from 40 years ago. Yes, all the wiring is thrown in the corner, but I'm not bothered about that because we have a brand new loom being fitted, the new ECU being fitted. So all of this will be cleaned up when it goes to Jamie. Obviously all the plastics will get refreshed. There's a new battery going in. We're going to have to get new lights and so on. So all of this will be factory fresh. We'll even give the underside a bit of a spruce as well. So yeah, Bob Autobodytechnic, you've done an amazing job. His details are on the screen. He will be painting the car later this year. In the meantime, I've managed to find some TSW Hockenheims, period correct. Yes, they need refurbishing, but all four will get refurbished and I'll get new tires on them. Still trying to source some brakes, but I've managed to speak to somebody who may have a set. And obviously I need 2 new lights. Again, I've spoken to somebody who may have a set. So this project is now coming along very quickly. I have spoken to Jamie recently. The car is booked in with JTech Automotive for the end of this month, for the end of May, to have the engine transplanted back in. That's the new engine, 500 brake horsepower plus. So super excited. We're actually coming along quite nicely. The next episode, the car will be trailered to Jamie. We will catch up with him, hopefully before the engine's gone in, or if the engine's gone in, so be it. And we'll have a chat with him and see what problems he's encountered, where we are at with the engine, show you some of all the new components that he's bought, because there's going to be bits and pieces such as the loom and the ECU, which we didn't see last time when we visited. He'll have those, and then he can start putting the car together. But speaking to engine builders, owners of the original engine is fantastic. So I'm trying to build a story, the history of this car, which is fantastic. And the world we live in now, because of social media, it's very easy to link up with people through contacts and so on. I really appreciate all those DMs from people suggesting that I should speak to this person and this person. I know this car is not for the purists, but guys, follow the journey. You can see what I'm doing here. It's costing an arm and a leg. It's not what I originally wanted to spend on the car, but I'm so far in now, I can't turn around and go back. So follow the story for the RS500. Even if you're not a purist, you'll appreciate what I'm doing. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. Smash the like button, and make sure you're a subscriber as well. And I will see you in the next one.